Okay, it's time to take a look at some of what's in the papers on this Saturday morning.
And we are going to begin with the front page of the Daily News. The headline here, Dolan out the pain. What they're talking about here is a lawsuit. Larry Hutcher has been a Knicks season ticket holder for 4 decades until the team's owner, James Dolan, benched him, according to a new lawsuit. Hutcher says his seats, along with 59 other lawyers at his firm, had their seats ripped too because of their representation of a group suing MSG. An MSG spokesperson says the decision was a straightforward policy implementation this past June to protect the garden against litigation and any improper disclosure and discovery. Mayor Adams' meantime, most recent tax forms appear to contradict financial disclosures he made to the city's Conflicts of Interest Board for the 2021 calendar. Now, Adams earned nearly $232,000 in taxable income in 2021. The latest returns also show he did not claim income on his cookbook, Healthy at Last, which he published in October of 2020, even though separate forms he filed indicate he claimed anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 worth of income off of a book advance.
All right, let's go to the Post now. Also a finance story involving another politician, Cat Buy Me Gov. The headline this morning, the Post criticizing how Governor Hochul, has been raising money for her campaign. Others really have been criticizing her as well. The Post says Hochul is bribing her way to the election. The paper criticizing what it calls an almost $1 billion slush fund in this summer's budget that has really allowed the governor, the paper says, to spend it on projects and groups really with no review by the state legislature. Critics, including her Republican opponent, have accused her of using that money to buy votes. Now, in response, the governor's spokesperson says the governor worked with the legislature to craft a fiscally responsible budget. The co-owner of the Chrysler building balking at his estranged wife's demands for more than $50 million as part of their divorce settlement so she can maintain a lavish lifestyle. Billionaire real estate mogul Michael Fuchs' lawyers have filed papers in London blasting his wife's demands. She says the $50 million is in line with their prenup that the couple signed before getting married.
Inflation hitting us in the sweet tooth. Yes, say it ain't so. The price of candy and chewing gum rose by more than 13% last month. That's the biggest jump ever recorded. Now, analysts say the reason for the sharp jump is, of course, the soaring price of sugar. But, you know, Rocco, we see this in just about every industry across the board.
Inflation hitting us everywhere, including our sweet tooth now. Okay. Bloops to nuts, the headline on the back page of the Post this morning. A couple of bad plays by the Yankees last night were costly. They lost the second game of the American League Division Series. They are now tied 1-1 with Cleveland. No need to get nervous just yet.
No, we still have time.
Yeah, we still have time.
It's going to happen for us. All right, let's move on to the Times right now. One of the headline stories here talking about 2020 election skeptics. Hundreds of Republican candidates running in the midterm elections have questioned or spread misinformation about the election. They include candidates for U.S. House and Senate, governor, secretary of state, attorney general. So the Times really taking a deeper dive here, saying these candidates represent a sentiment that's really spreading in the Republican Party. It has ruptured a bedrock of democracy that voters decide elections and candidates accept results.
Turkey's parliament has passed a law intended to stamp out misinformation. It allows the government, get this, to jail journalists and social media users for up to 3 years for spreading information considered false or misleading. The law also requires social media companies to hand over the personal details of users suspected of spreading fake news. Critics, including some media freedom advocates, have criticized this law as a threat to democracy.
President Biden's efforts to boost domestic manufacturing is coming under fire from some key U.S. allies. They accuse the U.S. of undercutting their transatlantic alliance with Made in America policies that threaten their economies. Policies that include making the U.S. less reliant on foreign suppliers have some foreign governments criticizing them as protectionism. This is the first major rift between the U.S. and Europe since Biden took office.
In the business section of the Times this morning, wage rules for service workers reaching a tipping point right now. A system that counts tips towards minimum wage being fought in many places across the country. Its critics say that the system is often abused. Defenders, meanwhile, say employees benefit overall. In all but 8 states, employers can choose to pay servers and bartenders who receive tips a sub-minimum wage, in some places as low as $2.13 an hour. But here's the caveat: as long as their tips bring their earnings to the equivalent of the minimum wage. Economists estimate at least 5.5 million workers are paid on that basis.
Moving on to the Wall Street Journal, tracksuits are no longer just for the gym or lounging around. Yeah, they're actually fancy. Are you wearing them right now? No, I don't think so.
I actually do like these, actually, but not right now. No.
He's not wearing them right now. He's all decked out today, but you can dress them up for work and play. This is thanks to not just runway dominance at labels like Gucci, but also the rise of post-pandemic bleisure. That is a mix of business and leisure clothing. So bleisure embraces soft fabrics and slouchy silhouettes.
Slouchy silhouettes. Everybody makes these now. You can see they're all over the place.
I also like with a nice heel. That would look good.
Oh, I don't wear heels, but okay. And the mustache having a moment, whether it's due to inspiration from characters like, of course, Ted Lasso. He wears a pretty good mustache. Or all that time that Americans spent experimenting with facial hair during the pandemic. There's a reluctance right now to return to a classic clean-shaven look for the office. Mustaches, after all, occupy a middle ground between beards and a baby smooth face. Okay,
so
a little thing I want to share with you. I shave even on my days off. Not as close as I would when I go to work. I can't, very rarely do I not shave. I might go one day.
Yeah.
But on some guys, it does look good.
You won't surprise us someday
with a mustache.
With a mustache.
Definitely not a Ted Lasso mustache.
You need a very certain kind of face to rock that.
Yeah. But the track pants,
Track pants and a mustache, and you are just super
There's our
stylish.
fashion report for this morning.
There's the fashion report. There's what's in the papers on this Saturday.